All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So far, New York Giants rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart has looked sharp in the preseason, and in doing so, it's raised some eyebrows as to whether or not that Big Blue should give the starting job to him coming out of training camp. But I'm here to tell you, don't hold your breath on that one. Yes, Jaxson Dart has looked solid so far in the preseason, but the Giants have a plan for him. And that plan is not to throw him to the fire right away. The Giants signed veteran quarterback Russell Wilson for a reason, as it's going to be his job this year to be the Giants starter unless he plays bad or gets injured. Now, I can totally understand where the Giants fans in New York and New Jersey who want to see Dart in action. Okay, and the primary reason for that is that they're looking for a glimmer of hope that they have not had at the quarterback position since the prime days of Eli Manning. Now, you think about the Giants and the Giants fan base. They're getting over the Daniel Jones era as the starting quarterback for the Giants. And you know what? It was a nightmare. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But I've said this for the longest time. The Giants organization, okay, made a mistake in number one drafting Jones, but then you bring in a new GM and Joe Shane and a new head coach and Brian Daboll, and they stuck with him and tried to fix him. Normally, a new GM and a new head coach, when they come in, well, what do they want to do? They want to go out there and get their guy at quarterback, whether they draft him, trade for him, sign him in free agency, whatever. Okay, and you go back to when Shane and Dayball assumed their respective roles with the Giants back in 2022, and they always tried to fix Daniel Jones. What they're doing right now for the Giants, this is something that should have been done when Shane and Dayball came in. Now, this time around, things are probably going to be different for the Giants. Jaxson Dart is looking sharp so far. Again, it's the preseason, but you could still see the potential that he has because he's doing the things on the field that Daniel Jones could not do in Brian Daboll's system. That's throw with accuracy. He's getting the football out quick. He's making his reads, and he's not forcing things. Okay, but the veteran Russell Wilson, I feel like, can have some success in Dable's system as well. And if Wilson is able to do that, and the Giants are able to win some games, okay, it's more than likely going to keep Dart on the bench, which honestly would not be a bad thing. I mean, at some point, Jaxson Dart is going to have to get his feet wet because the Giants need to know whether or not he can be their franchise quarterback. And I'll tell you like this, I don't know the long term situation for Shane and Dayball. I don't know if they're going to do enough to keep their jobs this year. We have to wait and see. Okay. But nonetheless, it's a situation with Jaxson Dart. Sooner rather than later, they're going to have to see what they have. But at the end of the day, I still feel Russell Wilson is a solid quarterback. He can be a solid quarterback in the National Football League in the right system. And if Russell Wilson, if everything goes, the plan for the Giants, it's a situation where Jaxson Dart can sit back and learn from Russell Wilson as the season progresses and is basically would be his de facto redshirt year. And it also helps that you know what, you got another veteran quarterback in Jameis Winston to lean on. But nonetheless, for Dart so far this preseason, he's 26 to 35 passing for 291 yards with a pair of touchdowns, and most importantly, no interceptions. What I've seen from Dart, he's a guy, he's taking what the defense is giving him, screen passes, little dump offs. He is matriculating the football down the field, but he's not forcing things. And that is the biggest thing I see the difference rather at the quarterback position for the New York Football Giants this year so far in the preseason in comparison to Daniel Jones. On top of that, Jaxson Dart is relying on the athletes around him, hence a lot of dump balls, hence a lot of screen passes, short passes. He's making that first read. He's showing the ability to check off. And again, I can't say this enough. He's not forcing things. So at the end of the day, what is the likelihood that Jackson Dart is going to see the field this season for the Giants? Like I said before, if it's a situation where Russell Wilson gets injured, or if it's a situation where Russell Wilson or the team or both are not playing well, then I could see Jackson Dart coming in at some point, maybe in October or November. But nonetheless, if Russell Wilson is playing solid and if the Giants are playing solid, I'm not sitting up here saying, okay, the Giants could be a playoff team. I'm not sitting up here saying, you know what, if you're the Giant fans, get yourself a parade ready for the Canyon of Heroes and Broadway. No. But nonetheless, I mean, they have to show some improvement from a 3-14 team last year. And I think even though it's a preseason, I think they're already showing signs of being a better team just due to the fact that the quarterback room has improved. But nonetheless, if the Giants can stay competitive and they can win some football games, I don't think that we are going to see Jackson Dart this season, unless, like I said before, if they play bad over the first half of the season, and if Russell Wilson plays bad over the first half of the season, then you know what? We're going to see this kid, and we're going to see what he can do in the regular season. But nonetheless, like I said before, it's still the preseason, but we're seeing flashes, and more importantly, we see potential. And I think the Giants don't want to rush things. It's a solid plan. For the first time in a long time, the Giants actually seem like they have a plan, seem like they know what they're doing. And let's see how this process continues for the youngster out of Ole Miss at quarterback for Big Blue. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. And the same can be said for Instagram, but you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can check us out at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.